So you're thinking of moving to South Florida, and you might be thinking that the real estate market has just gotten a bit out of hand, and you might want to sit and wait it out, but you're not sure if that is the best strategy for you. And we're going to get into all of that today. You know, is it still a good time to buy? Should I wait it out? Is the real estate market going to crash in 2022? And we're going to talk about all of that in this video, so stick around. Hey, what is going on, everyone, and welcome back to my channel, Living in Fort Lauderdale. My name's Rob Zeoli, and I'm a real estate agent right down here in sunny South Florida. And if this is your first time here to the channel, welcome. And if you want to know everything about the South Florida real estate market, then don't forget to subscribe to the channel down below and tap the notifications to be notified anytime I go ahead and put out a new video. I put out weekly videos and content about everything there is to know about the real estate market down here in South Florida. Now, we're getting calls from all over the country from people that are looking to relocate and want some information about the South Florida real estate market. So if that is you, reach out to me by phone, by text, or email. I'm open 24/7 and look forward to helping you make a smooth transition with any of your moves to South Florida. And without further ado, let's dive right into the video. Now, I usually shy away from making videos about the real estate market or market updates and things, you know, having to do with that. I'm usually out talking about neighborhoods and what it's like to actually move here, because I'm usually helping people that have already made a decision, you know, to move to this area. And I don't want to say that the market or the market conditions are irrelevant. They are very important. So whether the market is booming, if it's crashing or ready to crash, if it's leveling off, you still need to find a house. So that's usually what I'm concerned about. Now, as far as the actual real estate market here in South Florida for 2022, and if it's going to crash, I really don't think that that's going to be happening. Now, quick story, when I first got into real estate, this was back in 2006, which is right when we started noticing a little bit of cracks in the real estate market when we had our last crash. Right in the year of 2006, we definitely started seeing not only a leveling off, but kind of a decreasing in the market, and without a doubt, we knew it was going on. So I just want to highlight a few differences between the market back in 2006 when the last crash started to happen and what's going on right now. So first of all, the interest rates. Back then, interest rates were right around 6.5%, and most of the loans that people were getting were adjustable rate loans, meaning they were not fixed, and after a certain amount of time, they would adjust, going up, you know, quite a few percentage points at a time. Also, what was extremely common back then was buying with 100% financing. So what people were doing, they were getting FHA loans at 96.5% and asking for closing costs from the seller at that point in time was extremely common, and a lot of people that bought did not lay out any cash whatsoever for the purchase. Another thing is that the borrowers, the buyers, did not have to show any proof of income. So a lot of the loans were stated income. So basically, if you had a credit score that was in their parameters and you basically told the bank, whoever you were borrowing from, that you made whatever, $100,000 a year, you did not have to show them any proof of that income. At that time, there were a lot of programs because they wanted to, you know, encourage home ownership to people that not necessarily could afford the properties. And basically what we had at that time, and what led to the crash, in my opinion, was a credit crisis. We don't have anything like that right now in this market. Right now, what we have as far as any issues with the market is an inventory problem, just a shortage of properties for sale and a huge demand. So just the dynamics of the different markets or the time periods back at 2006 and up through 2009 and what's going on now, drastically different. So really, in my opinion, just the market conditions right now are totally different, and I don't think that they're going to lead towards a crash in 2022. Back then, a lot of people were buying on speculation. So there were people that had to buy properties and move, for normal reasons like a relocation or a job transfer. So really back in 2006, there was a lot more people buying based on speculation, and homes were way over leveraged at that point as opposed to right now in this market. So my question to you is, do you really have to move, in 2022? Now, again, another huge difference right now is that you have to be supremely qualified to purchase a home. Those stated income loans are out the window. No one does them anymore. So you have to actually really qualify for a home. And, 100% financing is kind of unheard of in this market, which is really a shame. There are a lot of people right now that, cannot afford more than 3.5%. And trying to get a seller to accept that type of a loan, especially if you need closing costs, or even someone who's doing VA, someone who's was in the military at some point, or a family member, very tough to get a seller to accept that type of an offer, which is kind of a shame. But the thing is, when there are 10 offers on a property and people are putting down 25%, waiving appraisals, and putting down huge down payments, it's really tough. But the thing is, it does change the conditions as far as the market. There's a lot more cash, a lot more built-in equity when someone actually purchases a property right now, as opposed to back during or before the last crash, when people were buying 100%. So there was no equity at all at the time of purchase, and basically just hoping for appreciation, which there was a lot of. But once it stopped, everything was upside down, and that's really not the case right now in 2022. Now, another thing I want to say about the market, and what I say here on this video or any video, is really just my opinion. So there are so many people right now that are talking about the market and a possible crash and what's going to happen. And one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video at this time. Now, all you got to do is just look online, and there are tons and tons of articles and opinions from people, so-called experts, about the market. So I thought it would be a good idea to just share my screen and jump on the computer and look at some articles and some things that are being said about how we got here in this market and what we could expect moving forward through 2022. All right, guys, so here we are, just to show you how we got here. Now, 2021 was a record-breaking year for Broward County, which was 40,423 total sales for 2021. You can see right here, and that is basically up about 28.4% more than more than last year, actually, and higher than any other year in the last decade for sure. And you can see right here, this has to do with luxury sales as well. And supply and demand, again, guys, this is the whole reason for this market, this unprecedented market we have right now, is that we have a huge demand for properties here in the county and in South Florida in general, and we just do not have the supply of properties available. So this is really what is contributing to the market right now. Now, if we move on to the next article, you can see right here, and this is not something that I realized. I did not realize that the state of Florida has more people moving to it than any other state in the entire country. I did not know that was true. I thought we were number 3 behind Texas and Arizona. But actually, if you read through this article, basically it says Florida is now attracting more new residents than any other state in the U.S. according to the new census data released. And this was, I think this was December 21st of 2021. So actually, Texas did rank highest for overall population growth, but as far as the amount of people moving, the state of Florida is tops. We are number one. And again, just like I mentioned in all my videos, or a lot of my videos, you can see right here, California and New York, Chicago, New Jersey, Seattle. These are places where we're getting most of our calls from, people that are relocating here. You know, it's not only an economic reason. A lot of it has to do with just business restrictions and businesses moving here. And also, you know, COVID restrictions is becoming a huge, huge deal now. Just a lot of people that we talk to are getting just tired of the endless restrictions. Now, you know, it seems like in the last few days, some parts of the country are kind of easing some restrictions that they've had in place, or at least that Florida has not had in place for a very long time, since the initial, lockdown to control the spread. We'll see if that changes anything, but a lot of people moving here to the state for that reason as well. Now, this article here, this next one is basically, I think this is Zillow is predicting here for 2022, or for nationwide, actually. They're predicting 11% value across the board, as opposed to around 20% that we had in 2021. Now, basically, this next article is going to be talking about COVID, like I mentioned, and a lot of people that are moving here for that reason. And this is really just talking about the amount of new IDs that people have been getting in the state, which is really just talking about the migration from people that are coming here from anywhere, really. But, again, New York is a huge loser as far as people leaving. New Jersey, we got a lot of foreigners moving here as well. And another thing that I had spoken about in a couple of previous videos, you can see right here, Palm Beach has become a huge, or has had a huge influx of a lot of financial firms, hedge funds that are moving to Palm Beach. They're calling it Wall Street South. So this is basically just talking about a lot of those companies that are moving here, and in turn, a lot of the residents, or a lot of the employees for these firms are coming here as well. Able to keep their salaries, which are pretty hefty to begin with, and they're also getting a nice pay increase by not having to pay any personal or state income tax when they move here. And another big thing is the difference in remote jobs. So a lot of people can move here that necessarily wouldn't be able to before COVID, because we don't have the highest wages as compared to some of these high tax states. But now that people can work from home, it's really changing the trajectory, and a lot of people are moving here and able to keep their current jobs because they can work remotely. Now, Zillow, now this is what I was talking about here. Now, Zillow, a couple articles ago, I basically showed you what Zillow had said. They predicted 11% growth. Well, now, and this article was written when? This was written, where's the date here? December 31st, so right at the end of 2022. So Zillow has already amended their forecast, and we've gone from 11%. Now Zillow is basically saying that we're going to be at 16%. So in a little over a month's time, Zillow has changed their prediction by going up another 7%. Again, guys, so thinking about if the market's going to be crashing, I don't know if I would really be worrying about it, especially for 2022. And again, the state of Florida is kind of a little bit different than most of the country. Okay, guys, so this article here is going to be talking about the rental market. Now, again, I had mentioned many times about the rental market here in South Florida, and this is just a byproduct of the amount of people that are moving here. We just don't have any place to put them. A lot of people cannot qualify to purchase, and also maybe they just don't want to buy. They want to wait it out. And there's just not enough properties, again, with the inventory. So if you can look here, you can see that the real estate, well, I'm sorry, the rental market has gone up 19% as well in 2021. So just like the home sales, it's kind of the same thing. Something we have not really seen, or I've never seen, is the rental market is very similar to the just the regular real estate market, the home sale market. Multiple offers on properties, people paying well over asking price for rental properties. So there's a lot of rental complexes going up here in the county as well. And another thing too, a reason for that is that we don't have really have no land to build anywhere. So I was doing some research. So basically, if you're there's about 1%, and this is for Broward and Palm Beach. There's roughly 1% of vacant residential land left to build any new real estate. So anything that they build is going to be going up, and that's going to be some sort of high-rise buildings or some sort of conversion. You don't see much with the condo conversion. That was a huge thing back 2003, 2004, 2005. A lot of condo sales, a lot of the apartment buildings back then were purchased by developers taking advantage of the market back then, and all of them were converted, not all of them, but most of them converted to condos. And one of the big things back then was a lot of the people that were purchasing, you'd buy, like they would build out in phases, just like if they were building any sort of a master plan community. They start in phase one, they build a few models, and then they start building. They finish with phase one, they go into phase two, phase three, phase four. If you purchased in phase one, by the time they got to phase four, whatever you purchased had gone up a substantial amount. So people were actually buying and selling from phase one to phase three or phase four. Something you don't see at this time, but you can see here there's no land whatsoever. We get a lot of calls for new construction. It's not really heard of. It's really kind of unheard of in my area in Fort Lauderdale. A little bit in Palm Beach. Actually, Parkland in Broward has some. Not much, a lot more in Palm Beach, but still not much residential. There's a lot of agricultural land, but north of that, Port St. Lucie, I just placed a great couple up there. They're doing a lot of new construction up in Port St. Lucie, but down in this area, the Miami, Fort Lauderdale Metro, maybe 1% of residential land for any type of building. This next one here, this is another huge thing as far as having a market crash. So basically, if you look at this article here, it shows that they're saying that the real estate here in the state of Florida is overvalued by 18%. But if you look back here, when we had our last crash, you can see that they were saying that the real estate was overvalued. It was at 80% as compared to now 18%, which is a huge, huge difference. And actually, if you look at South Florida, as far as being overvalued, I think we're the lowest area in the state, which is really good for us. So that's another huge thing. Let's see if this graph, if you can see it here, if I can make it a little bigger. Yeah, you can see that they're overvaluing you. I don't know if you can see this. Tampa is supposed to be overvalued at 37.96. Fort Myers 34%, Melbourne 34%, Daytona 33%, Orlando 28%, and down here in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, we're at 18.2%, which is good. Not good to be overvalued anyway, but still a lot different than the last time we had a crash, and doing pretty good as far as other areas in the state. So I think that bodes pretty well for us if we're going to be forecasting another crash. And lastly here is the foreclosure activity. So we were hearing when COVID hit that we were going to have this huge foreclosure crisis because obviously a lot of people couldn't work. You had a lot of landlords that could not collect any rent. So they were predicting this wave of foreclosures and made a lot of people think back of or to the last crash when short sales and foreclosures was pretty much 80% of the market. But if you see right here, the tsunami of foreclosures expected has ended. There's barely a splash. So really nothing on the horizon that shows that we're going to have any sort of a foreclosure crisis. I don't remember the last time I actually saw a bank-owned property for sale. There are a couple here and there. There's always going to be a couple or a short sale. It's not something you see right now at all in the market. So again, this is just my opinion, my prediction. I think you're going to be pretty safe here purchasing in 2022 and looking at all this data, not just my opinion, but from all these different sources, it does not look like anything's going to really be changing as far as a crash in 2022. I think we're going to have some sort of an adjustment or a leveling out or a little bit or not as much appreciation. And that's a good thing because it could only go up so high. Sooner or later, we just cannot keep going up with the appreciation. But as far as a real estate crash here in South Florida, especially for 2022, I do not see that happening. So I hope this was helpful, guys. So with all the available data and what we just spoke about, I don't see any real crash coming in 2022. And I don't really see a downside for someone who's looking to purchase, especially if you have to move, if you have plans on moving, if you're relocating for a job, if your family is expanding and you just don't have the room anymore. Maybe you're downsizing, maybe you're sick of that 2-hour commute. If you have to move, you have to move. Now, I would say if you're buying strictly on speculation, that might be different, but I'd be totally honest with you, we're getting a ton of calls from people that are doing just that. Investors that are just looking to purchase and take advantage of the market and the appreciation and the crazy rental market we have going on right now. So the rental market is kind of similar to the market, people that are purchasing. We're seeing multiple offers on rental properties, a lack of inventory on rentals, and people just paying, I don't want to say obscene prices, but very, very high prices for rentals and actually overpaying from the list price. In turn, a lot of investors are putting their money and buying properties down here in South Florida and renting them out. Airbnb is a huge thing right now. I've spoke about this in many videos. They're building a lot of apartment complexes right now and charging, some very, very high rents. So that is also a thing right now too. Not just people that, your normal person buying a home, a family, but people are investing a lot of money down here in South Florida. And again, it's for a lot of the reasons we spoke about. A lot of people moving here. Jobs are moving here, companies are moving here, people are relocating and changing jobs and working remotely. So a lot of people coming into South Florida. It's just that type of market right now, kind of a market that we have never seen before. So really in a nutshell, the market is kind of unprecedented right now, but we've been very, very fortunate that we've been able to win bids for our buyers in this market, a lot of times on the first shot. And a lot of people that we work with lately have worked with other realtors and put in several offers on different properties and did not win the bids and were unsuccessful. And they came and worked with us and they were able to get the property sometimes on the first try. Now, every property is different. Every property has a different story. And it's just a matter of finding out what that seller for that particular property needs. Now, I have to say, if you are definitely thinking of moving or you have to move and you know where you want to go, you really, really have to be determined and you have to be all in and very decisive when it comes to putting in an offer. Now, when you work with us to buy a property, we are not pushy in any way, but we are going to set that expectation up front that you have to be decisive and you have to be determined to do what you have to do to win the bid on a property. You know, some people feel a little bit uncomfortable in this market because they feel, I don't want to say pressured, or maybe they're overpaying, but unfortunately is one of the reasons why I don't like doing these market update videos and things having to do with this subject, because I don't determine the market and nobody does. Basically, the market is already set, and it's set by the buyers and sellers out there. And, you know, what a buyer is willing to pay for a property is what it is actually worth in this market. So again, you have to be determined and all in at this time to win the bid. So I want to thank you for watching, and hopefully you got something out of this video. And if you have any questions at all about this topic or any of the areas that we speak about, you can reach me by phone, by text, by email. I look forward to speaking with you down the road and making it a smooth transition with your move to South Florida. And until the next time, I really appreciate you watching, and I'll catch you on the next video. Take care.